Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Muktir Bhakti Nashtake. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 9, Brahma's Prayers for Creative Energy, text number 30 onwards. Bhuyastvam tapatishta vidyam cha madashrayam tabhyam anta hridi brahman lokan drakshasya pavritan. O Brahma, situate yourself in penance and meditation and follow the principles of knowledge to receive my favor. By these actions, you will be able to understand everything from within your heart. The mercy the Lord bestows upon a particular person engaged in executing the responsible work entrusted upon him is beyond imagination. But his mercy is received due to our penance and perseverance in executing devotional service. Brahma was entrusted with the work of creating the planetary systems. The Lord instructed him that when he meditated, he would very easily know where and how the planetary systems must be arranged. The directions were to come from within, and there was no necessity for anxiety in that task. Such instructions of Buddhi Yoga are directly imparted by the Lord from within, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. So, just like yesterday we discussed, when Krishna or Krishna's representative gives some service, some responsibility, they also, along with it, they give the power to execute that service. So now, how to get that power? Just like yesterday, Vinay Prabhu said, well, what is going to happen is going to happen. Yes, it is going to happen, but we have to do our service. Now Krishna is telling us, O Brahma, situate yourself in penance and meditation and follow the principles of knowledge to receive my favor. So Krishna's mercy or Krishna's kripa or Prabhupada's kripa. Kripa means kar and pa. Once we do it, once we do our service, our responsibility, carry out our duties, we will get the mercy. And then Krishna tells Brahma, these actions you will be able to understand everything from within your heart. By these actions of penance and meditation. So by that, Brahmaji understood how he is supposed to do the work of creation. And then he did the work of creation. That is also another duty of a follower. Once he gets the knowledge, or once he gets the power, he does it. He does it to the utmost degree. He works even harder than the karmis working in the material world. Karmis are working very hard to make few bucks, few rupees, or few dollars. People are working day and night just to earn few dollars, a few rupees. So the devotees work even harder because they know they are serving the Supreme Lord. And in return, even if they don't ask for anything in return, even if somebody asks for anything in return, they know what in return they'll get. So that's a motivation. So Brahmaji also works very hard, and every devotee works very, very hard. Text 31. Tatatmani loke cha bhakti yukta samahita drishtasi mam tatah brahman Mayi loka swamatmanaha. O Brahma, when you are absorbed in devotional service in the course of your creative activities, you will see me in you and throughout the universe, and you will see that you yourself, yet the universe and the living entities are all in me. It's cited herein by the Lord that during his daytime, Brahma would see him as Lord Shri Krishna. He would appreciate how the Lord expanded himself into all the calves during his childhood at Vrindavan. He would know how Yashodamai saw all the universes and planetary systems within the mouth of Krishna during his playful childhood pastime. And he would also see that there are many millions of Brahmas during the appearance of Lord Krishna in Brahma's daytime. But all these manifestations of the Lord appearing everywhere in his eternal, transcendental forms cannot be understood by anyone but the pure devotees, who are always engaged in devotion service to the Lord and are fully absorbed in the Lord. The high qualifications of Brahma are also indicated herein. So Brahmaji, then Krishna is saying that Garbhodaksha Vishnu is saying, Brahmaji, you will see me in you and throughout the universe. So that is another potency of Krishna. He can be everywhere and he can be inside Brahmaji. And then Krishna says, you will see that you yourself, the universe, and the living entities are all in me. So universes are in him and he is within the universe all over. So this is this part. If one is not a devotee, he cannot understand. That's what Prabhupada is saying. But all these manifestations of the Lord appearing everywhere in his eternal transcendental forms cannot be understood by anyone but the pure devotees. What's so difficult for Krishna to do all this? As Paramatma, he is everywhere. He is even within the atom and within the space between the atoms. That's also Krishna. And when Krishna showed Yashoda Maya twice in this pastimes, he showed all the universes within his mouth. That's also true. So everything is true. All the contradictions are in Krishna. All the apparent contradictions, what we think of contradictions, they are within Krishna. That's why he is the supreme absolute truth. Absolute, another meaning of absolute is everything is within him, even all the so-called contradictions. Yada tu sarvabhuteshu darushvagnim sitam prati chakshit mamloko jaya taryeva kashmalam. You will see me in all living entities as well as all over the universe, just as fire is situated in the wood. Only in that state of transcendental vision will you be able to be free from all kinds of illusion. Brahma prayed that he might not forget his eternal relationship with the Lord during the course of his material activities. In answer to that prayer, the Lord said that he should not think of existing without a relationship with his omnipotency. The example is given of the fire in the wood. The fire kindled in wood is always the same, although the wood may be of different types. Similarly, the bodies within the material creation may be specifically different according to shape and quality, but the spirit souls within them are not different from one another. The quality of fire, warmth is the same everywhere, and the spiritual spark or part and parcel of the Supreme Spirit is the same in every living being, because the potency of the Lord is distributed all over his creation. This transcendental knowledge alone can save one from the contamination of material illusion. So this knowledge, this transcendental knowledge about the spirit soul being part and parcel of Krishna, when one comes to that level, He will not fall down again in the material world. When one starts seeing spirit, soul everywhere, the material bodies doesn't matter. This is why in Bhagavad Gita also it says, no, Vidya Vinay Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastini Shuni Chav Shupake Cha Pandita Samdarshina. That is Pandit. That is real. That's a person with real knowledge. When within all these different bodies of Brahman, Gavi, cow, Hastini, elephant, Shuni, dog, and the dog eater, he sees only the spirit soul. His vision is spiritual. And that's what Krishna is saying. Oh, Prabhupada is also writing that then he will not fall down. That's what Krishna is telling Brahmaji. This transcendental knowledge alone can save one from the contamination of material illusion. Since the Lord's potency is distributed everywhere, a pure soul or devotee of the Lord can see everything in relationship with the Lord, and therefore he has no affection for the outer coverings. So he sees everything in relationship with the Lord, not just the spirit soul being part and parcel of Krishna, being a servant of Krishna. And this is only possible for a transcendentalist, otherwise it's not at all possible. So therefore he has no affection for the outer covering. The pure spiritual conception makes him immune to all contamination of material association. The pure devotee never forgets the touch of the Lord in all circumstances. He not only sees spirit soul, he not only sees the relationship of the spirit soul with Krishna, he sees Krishna's hand everywhere. Because he sees Krishna everywhere. In every thing that is happening, in every incident that's happening, he sees Krishna's hand everywhere. It's not that easy. That's only possible by the penance and perseverance that Brahmaji had to go through. Even after that, this was all Krishna's Yog Maya that was acting upon Brahmaji. That Brahmaji got bewildered seeing Krishna with his cowherd boys. And also he got bewildered when he went to see Krishna in Dwarka. So Brahma Vimohan Leela, you all must have heard of, so I'll not talk about that. When Brahmaji went to Dwarka to meet Krishna, so Krishna told his doorkeepers to let Brahmaji come to the hall of his palace. When Brahmaji came there, he was waiting for Krishna, Dwarkadhish, to come out. And then Krishna sends a message through the doorkeeper. Oh, which Brahmaji are you? So Brahmaji got a little bewildered and little bit upset also, because he was little proud of his position. Or maybe it was Krishna's Yogmaya acting on him to give him a nice lesson. So Brahmaji says, what do you mean, which Brahma? I'm the only Brahma in the whole universe. I'm the four-headed Brahma. What do you mean, which Brahma? So doorkeeper said, okay, don't get upset. You please sit here. I'll give the message to Dwarkadish and he'll be coming right over. So doorkeeper went and Krishna came out. And when Krishna came out, he summoned all the Brahmas from all the universes, not just the Brahmas, with the Shivas, with the Indras, all the universes. And everybody came at once in that hall, which was big hall, but not big enough for all the Brahmas and Shivas and Indras to combine together, come there. But they all fitted in that hall. And everybody in front of our four-headed Brahma, everybody was paying obeisances to Krishna. And Brahmaji saw Krishna, other Brahmas with 16 heads, with 64 heads, with 128 heads, with millions of heads of Brahmas. And all the helmets, they were dangling together, they were striking together, making beautiful noise when they all bowing down to Krishna. And then Krishna asks everybody, "Oh, is everything okay in your universe? Any demons creating any problems for you?" And everybody said, "No, my Lord. By your mercy, everything is fine. Is there any service for us?" Krishna said, "No, no, I just wanted to see you all. Just go back." So when they all went back, then a four-headed Brahma understood what his position was. It is said over there that he thought himself to be a little rabbit in front of or in the middle of all the big gigantic elephants. So Krishna does that if he feels there is some pride in my devotee. But otherwise he's telling Brahma, you keep on acting like this, the way I'm telling, and Maya or illusion will not even touch you. Text 33. Yada rahitam atmanam bhutendriya gunashaya swarupena mayopetam pashyan swarajyam richati. When you're free from the conception of gross and subtle bodies, and when your senses are free from all influences of the modes of material nature, you will realize your pure form in my association. At that time, you'll be situated in pure consciousness. So that time, when you're free from the conception of gross and subtle bodies, you will realize your pure form in my association. And at that time, you'll be situated in pure consciousness. In the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, it is said that a person whose only desire is to render transcendental loving service to the Lord is a free person in any condition of material existence. That service attitude is a swarupa or real form of the living entity. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Chaitanya Charitamrita also confirms this statement by declaring that the real spiritual form of the living entity is eternal servitorship to the Supreme Lord. Mahaprabhu said, Jivera Swarup hai Krishnera Nityadas. It's our constitutional position. Eternal or constitutional position is what? Eternal servitorship. Jivera Krishnera Nityadas. Nityadas. Not today, not tomorrow, forever and ever. The Mayavad school shudders at the thought of a serving attitude in the living entity, not knowing that in the transcendental world, the service of the Lord is based on transcendental love. Transcendental loving service is never to be compared to the forced service of the material world. So in the spiritual world, it's transcendental loving service. Everybody wants to serve Krishna, and out of love, out of full love and devotion, not by force. Force only works in the material world. In the material world, even if one is under the conception that he is no one's servant, he is still the servant of his senses, under the dictation of the material modes. So here, even if we think I'm nobody's servant, suppose the richest man, maybe Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos, they say, "Oh, I'm not anybody's servant," but they are still servant of their senses. Just like there's a story. Let me remember the details. Okay, so when Alexander was going back to his country from India, and he was passing by Himalayas, and in Himalayas he had heard there are many yogis sitting there and doing their tapasya. So even when he was passing by, he saw at a distance, a yogi sitting and doing his meditation. And he thought it would be very amusing for his country people to see such a yogi. So he sent his soldiers to tell the yogi to come with him. Yogis are yogis, they don't care whether you're Sikandar or even whether you're Jeff Bezos or even whether if you're Indra, they don't care. So Yogi didn't even move. So Sikandar went to him, Alexander. Alexander went to him and told him, I'm telling you to come with me. And the yogi said, I'm not coming with you. I'm fine here. I want to do my tapasya. I want to do my yoga. Alexander said, you will not even listen to me? I'm the great Alexander. And Alexander, while saying that, he was getting a little angry. So Yogi said, I'm not here to obey your orders. You're just a servant of my servant. And now this really put Alexander in, I mean, he was in a tough situation and he was getting angry. All the ministers and all his soldiers were there. And he said, what do you mean by saying I'm a servant of your servant? Yogi said, see, I have controlled anger and you haven't even controlled anger. See, you're getting angry. So basically you're a servant of anger or senses and I have controlled my senses. So you're a servant of my servant. Why should I follow your orders? You just go to your country and do whatever you think. Alexander then understood his position and the position of that yogi. So in the material world, everybody is servant of the senses, even if no matter how great or rich or powerful person he could be. Even Prahlad Maharaj told his father, Hiranyakashipu, Sada samudvigna dhiyam asadgrihad. Samudvigna dhiyam means your senses are always agitated. Even though Hiranyakashipu had controlled his senses when he was doing his tapasya for 100 celestial years, he completely controlled his senses. He controlled his senses to the extent that all his body parts, everything was eaten up by the ants and he didn't even move. He had somehow saved his soul within the bones. The whole body, skin, blood, the muscle, the tissues, everything was gone. Ants had eaten it all. So this is how he controlled his senses. But now when Prahlad Maharaj was speaking something against his wishes, he could not control his senses. So this is why senses are so difficult to be controlled. Even in Bhagavad Gita we studied, it says in 2nd chapter, even if somebody is trying to control the senses will take the mind away, just like wind. Wind moves a boat on the river. Yatha navam evambasi. So there is no shelter for the boat on the river, and wind can just move it around. And similarly, the senses will take the mind of even a very strong person, very strong, spiritually very strong person. The senses can take that mind away. That's how powerful the senses are. Factually, no one is master here in the material world. Therefore, the servant of the senses have a very bad experience of servitude. They shudder at the thought of service because they have no knowledge of the transcendental position. In transcendental loving service, the servitor is as free as the Lord. He's not controlled by his senses. In fact, he just wants to serve the Lord with love. He's completely independent. The Lord is Swarat, fully independent, and the servant is also fully independent, or Swarat in the spiritual atmosphere. Because there is no forced service. There, the transcendental loving service is due to spontaneous love. Spontaneous love means once a devotee sees the Parshad, the associate sees Krishna, the love just comes out. And out of his love, he does all the services. A reflected glimpse of such service is experienced in the service of the mother unto the son, the friend's service unto the friend, or the wife's service unto the husband. Okay, let's take the third part of it. Just mother and the son and the friend's service unto the friend. That's still okay. No, just kidding. These reflections of service by friends, parents, or wives were not forced, but are due to only love. Here in this material world, however, the loving service is only a reflection. Reflection doesn't even give the whole picture, but it comes close. The real service or service in Swarupa, or original constitutional position, is present in the transcendental world. In association with the Lord, the very same service in transcendental love can be practiced in devotion here. So here we are in the training process, trying to be pure devotees, trying to render pure loving service. This verse is also applicable to the Jnani school, the enlightened Jnani. Anyway, that's another paragraph, so you can read this. Well, I think I'll stop here. See anybody has any question or comments?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, how to not become the servant of our sense of organs?
Servant of our sense organs.
I mean, our senses.
Our senses. See, not becoming a servant of senses doesn't mean we don't use the senses. Senses are always to be engaged. We cannot go to Himalayas and do yoga and try to control the senses that way. So the best way is, Krishna also says, Vishya vinivartante niraharasya dehina rasvarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. By giving higher taste to the senses, they give up easily the lower taste. So higher taste is to give the senses Krishna service, Krishna katha. So engage them in service of Krishna. So senses are what? The eyes, the nose, the ears, the mouth, the tongue, the skin, and the hands and the legs. These are all the senses. So we can engage them as much as possible in the service of Krishna. So then it is not considered that we are servant of the senses. We are engaging the senses in the service of the master of the senses. So slowly we'll go away from engaging the senses in my service. We think we are engaging senses in my service. Actually, we become servant of the senses. The senses dictate the mind instead of intelligence controlling the senses and the mind. So we use more and more in service of Krishna, chant more and more, read more and more, look at do the darshan of the Lord, go to dham, go to temple, by hands do our service. So that's all the process is.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Any other question or comment?
Prabhuji, we have a full house today.
Yeah, so in this full house, we are making an announcement that tomorrow Radha Prabhu will take the class.
Sure, Prabhu.
I guess we can stop here. You all have a wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Uh,
Hare Krishna.